Luna. She was here with me all through the last Flosstube and never made a murmur, so I've got her in here with me again today. She's just coming over to see what I was up to. Hello. Thank you for tuning in again. And if you're coming back for more, thank you for coming back for more. I didn't intend to film another Flosstube so quickly. I think it was 2 weeks ago that I put out the first one. But the response that I had has been so amazing that I've just felt the need to come back and say thank you. Thank you for watching me, spending your time with me, taking the time to leave comments, such lovely comments. I particularly liked hearing that you were interested in listening to me talk about things like the knitting that perhaps you don't knit, or that it was all of interest, or all something that you could have on in the background while you're doing your own crafting and drinking your own coffee at home. And that means a lot to me. I am a multi-crafter. I do lots of different things and I don't compartmentalize them. And I wanted this to be a reflection of how my mind jumps from one thing to another and how I make connections between things. And you know, sometimes I find myself doing the same colours in a cross stitch and then I'm drawn to those for a knitting project, or you know, it all sort of crosses over really. So that's how this one is going to be. Is that all I wanted to say about that? Really lovely comments. I have a close friend and one of my daughters, when they knew that I was doing this, have been, YouTube, looking at the comments in case anybody was unkind, and they've both been amazed by how lovely stitches are, but we all know that, don't we? Okay, what am I wearing? This is the Robinia sweater by Annie Wetzel. I made this a couple of years ago. I like it a lot, I wear it a lot. It hasn't worn well. I used Drops Air for the pink, and that is a what they call a blown yarn, and it's like a netting tube that fibres are blown into and then they sort of stick out through the tube, so it's super fluffy. It's a commercial yarn that's really relatively inexpensive. You can buy more expensive blown yarns, but I wanted to keep the cost down, I suppose. So this one is the netting is a polyester, but it is blown with alpaca and wool, so it's natural fibre inside. It hasn't pilled. It's sort of fluffed up. I can't pull the pills off, so it's not as pristine as it was when I first finished it, but it was the first thing I'd made with this yarn, so yeah, a good lesson basically. I mixed it with this is a hand-dyed Aran weight wool from an English dyer. I just really like this colour combination. It was knit from the top down, so you cast on at the neck and you knit round and round in circles. I didn't get the right gauge for the pattern, so I think I knitted quite a big size. It's got lovely balloony sort of sleeves because I wanted it to be roomy, and I might even have put in an extra pattern repeat to make it long enough because my row gauge was probably out as well. I have used this yarn subsequently, this Drops Air yarn subsequently, messing around with gauge on another pattern, and to get gauge I mixed it with something else, and that one hasn't fluffed up. And I was watching a knitting podcast last night in which somebody said if you hold it with another yarn it stops it from fluffing. So I didn't know that, but that is why that other sweater, which I will probably wear at some stage and you can see it, hasn't fluffed like this one, but I'm sure you can't see the fluffiness. So that's what I'm wearing. What am I drinking? It's another coffee. Coffee today in a hand-thrown, hand-turned terracotta pottery mug that was my grandma's, and I don't use it very often because I'm always really frightened I'm going to break it. One of the reasons I like it so much is I love seeing the marks where things have been made. You can see where somebody's pressed their thumb in to put the handle on there, and it's super thin. It's almost porcelain thinness. How it's survived this long, I don't know, without being chipped or cracked, but it's really nice to drink out of. And yeah, I'll have a sip now. Right, I want to do all this in one take. There's no editing or anything, so roll with me if I lose my train of thought. What have I been working on this week? Let's get the Gertrude bag. And this is going to mean me going off on a tangent because this is new. And I've got very excited about this. A few weeks ago, my husband and I went away for a couple of nights in West Sussex. Get east and west and all that. West Sussex. Couple of reasons. We went to a place called Alfriston, which I wanted to go to. There's a hotel there that I wanted to go and stay at for ages. It's not too far from where we live. We don't want to do long journeys at the moment. And it's where Charleston farmhouse is, which is the place where Vanessa Bell, Clive Bell, Duncan Grant, the Bloomsbury Group all hung out. I have seen many images of that farmhouse over the years, and by the time you get to my age you make all sorts of connections in your head between people. So Vanessa Bell was an artist and a textile designer, and obviously very other things as well. Her sister was Virginia Woolf, and I know Virginia Woolf through her books that I have read. And then there's the connection with Vita Sackville West and Virginia Woolf, and that's Sissinghurst Castle, and I love gardening, and she obviously was a garden writer as well. So there are sort of, as you go through life, you accumulate knowledge about things without really sort of realising that these things interconnect. I was also aware of the Amiga workshops where the Bloomsbury Group produced furniture and fabrics. And that dates back to my time at Liberty, because I actually was the antiques buyer there, so I don't think I ever had any Amiga workshop things pass through my hands, but it was on my radar because they were operational at the same time. I need to have a sip of coffee. So we went to the farmhouse. We had a guided tour with a lady, really lovely lady, and I was just really seeing some. I thought I knew what I was going to be seeing because I've seen images of it before, but seeing it in real life, it was so fantastic. We had such a great time. I had such a great time, and got wrapped up in the whole story, really, of how they lived. They were, I think it was Clive Bell was a conscientious objector in the First World War, and in order to not go to prison, you had to do some, land work or be doing something. And it was Virginia Woolf that alerted them to this farmhouse in the middle of nowhere, where they could farm. I don't know how much farming actually went on. It was probably all art, but there you go. And Vanessa Bell had 2 sons with her husband, and they were all raised there with all these people coming and going. She also had a daughter with Duncan Grant, the artist, and never, her daughter never knew. They all lived together. I think they all lived together in the same house, and her daughter never knew that Clive Bell wasn't actually her father, but Duncan Grant was. And I mean, it messed up, really, honestly. Subsequently, she also grew up and went on to marry her biological father's lover. Couldn't make it up, could you? Anyway, at the gift shop afterwards, I bought her book. Her name was Angelica Garnett, Deceived with Kindness. I think it's going to be very interesting, actually. So that was a gift shop must-have. The other gift shop must-have was this lovely book on the it's basically about the house. I haven't had time to read it all yet, and about all the furniture and the textiles and oh yeah, there was lots of textiles there, actually. There were they designed needlepoints, and Duncan Grant's mother stitched them. So there was a big stool and there was a mirror which had a needlepoint exterior. Anyway, I've probably rattled on enough about that. Also in the gift shop, they sold fabric by the metre. And see that chair there? This fabric was designed by Vanessa Bell. It's called White. It's not white, it's called White. But unbelievably, it was designed in 1913. That does not look like 1913, does it? That's really looking quite modern to me. I was really taken with that. There were some other fabrics that they sold by the metre as well, but they all had very, very big designs on, and I just had this thing. I want to make myself a Gertrude bag as a souvenir of our a few days away, and so I got some of this and I made myself a bag, and I'm thrilled with it, absolutely thrilled with it. And it's lovely. I've already found something to put on it. How I remembered this, I don't know. This is a brooch that I used to wear back in the late 80s, early 90s. I've always loved brooches. And it's just perfect. It's a circle and it's the right colours. So absolutely delighted with that. What shall I talk about next? Shall we see what's in the bag? Let's see what's in the bag. Book of Days. I don't need to go through Book of Days. That's that. Paisley. Not touched. Back over there. Zarafa. You can see I've shifted all my stuff from the bag last week to this one. This is my new. So this one I have touched. And I really love it. This is Noélie Courbineau, 1847, from Reflet de Soie. And it's just lovely. I think if you can remember last time, I'd done some of the roses. I did a little bit of the roses here, so I've actually filled in quite a few more flowery bits there. Still a bit more to do. But I came to a good stopping point on this, where I thought I could leave it and come back to it. So I've put it down for a moment. But I will continue, this will stay in my current bag because I will pick this up again. I said last time when I showed it that I had several fabric choices for it and that I changed my mind at the last minute for this one. And as I've been working on it, because the weather here has been really lovely, we've had some lovely sunny days, and this silk, Evero Soie silk, the sheen on it, it just glows when you've got the sun behind you. And I remembered why I changed my mind. I changed my mind because I'd picked out fabrics that were sort of a bit grungy. If you look at to get a glare on it. If you look at the actual picture, there's a lot of dirt age stuff going on here. So I picked out fabrics that would replicate that aged look. But these silks, these colours are not aged colours in my mind. They are bright, luminous, and that is why I think at the last minute I thought, no, it just needs to be on a plain piece of linen, really, that sets off the colour. So I've been working on that, and I'm loving it, and that will definitely happen again. Let's put that away. Now, just for Jeanette, who tells me I was comedy gold last time when I described this as a giraffe-shaped hole, which obviously is not a giraffe-shaped hole at all, is it? Anyway, I thought I'd bring down the giraffe, so I brought it down from upstairs because I think I said it was on my dressing table. So that is what creates a giraffe-shaped hole. That is JBW Designs. I showed the pattern last week. It's Fox and Rabbit Seaweed. Yeah. Got a date. Actually, there's some Grandma's buttons on there. I know I got those out of Grandma's box. 2022 I did that one. And very realistically, it seems to have a pin and a tapestry needle in it. I probably found them on the floor and just stuck them in there to keep them safe. I achieved technical wizardry after last time, because I now realise that there is a button that you can press that reverses everything so it's normal. So I'm looking at that now in the screen and it is all in reverse, but you will see it the right way around because I discovered something all by myself and I didn't need any technical assistance with it. I managed it all by myself. So that's that. This is in the bag. I haven't done any work on this for a long time, but it's in the bag because I will pick it up again, because my chemotherapy for my breast cancer started this week, and so it's time to get back to this. This is from Mojo Stitches, a Dutch redwork duo. It's both you could either stitch the old sampler completely as charted, or an adaptation as a drum. And lovely Nicola from Number 12 Stitch Company put this out for breast cancer awareness, was it back in October, as a fundraiser. I just wanted the pattern. I remember contacting her about it and she just sent it to me. So she sent me the pattern and her lovely fabric, which is lovely, and a little thread holder as well, just because everybody is so kind and lovely, and I was thrilled to bits to receive it, and I started it straight away, and I'm not doing too badly with it. I was talking about it, I'll just show you now. There we go. So I've done the top border, bottom border almost, working my way across the centre now. I put a gold crown on my swan. She's not sparkling, is she? But she has got a gold crown. Yeah, was torn as to whether to do the sampler or the drum, but I decided on the drum. So this is Ice Rose 36 count. Yeah, it's looking good. So I must get back to this. I must do some stitches in this while I'm going through this process. I chose my own colours. So just from my stash, I am using Adobe from Weeks Dye Works. I didn't want it to be too pink, and I chose a Cottage Garden thread raspberry. What's that colour? I watched Natalie, Home Sweet Home Handmade, in the week, and she likes Cottage Garden threads, and she was showing how you're supposed to use them. I didn't have a clue. I obviously took it off of the card and put it on one of those that Stitchy Rach gave me. And then that is some Avera Soie, just from a previous project. It's just a creamy silk, it's nice and thick, so it's got a bit of gleam, and it came with a little swan, and the breast cancer awareness doodah there. So I will definitely be doing some of this over the next couple of weeks. It's in the most bizarre bag. When I came to kit it up, this was the only project bag I had left that I wasn't using. I love this one. I've made 2 lots of these. I made them and they completely sold out, and then I went to a sewing thing with a friend of mine, and I saw a bolt of this on the other side of the room, and I ran to go and get it so I could make some more. Yeah, he's a Halloweeny sort of bag really, but that's what's in there. Actually, there's something else in here as well. I must get out of the habit of putting patterns into bags, because when I got this out just a minute ago, I noticed that I'd put that in there. That was one of my market buys last year, and I think I'm all enthusiastic and I think, oh yes, I'm going to start that straight away, and I'll this, that and the other, and then I don't, and the bag gets put away and the pattern ends up in another cupboard, unloved and forgotten about. So I might actually leave that one out. I've got to stop doing that, putting multiple, if they're not started. If they're started, it's different, but I just can't find the patterns. So that's crown swan drum knitting. I have a pair of socks on the go. Always have a pair of socks on the go, particularly good for appointments. They're dead boring. These are for my husband, they'll be for Christmas. The nurse who came along to do something or other, I can't remember what she was doing with me, was very intrigued about knitting and asked me several times what they were, how was it gonna, and who were they for, and he was with me, and I actually had to say they're for him for Christmas. He actually probably wouldn't have noticed if it hadn't have been highlighted. So and that's I used to make these bags. This is I used to call it the Erica, well it is the Erica bag, and this is, yeah, it's got socks on it, so it's good for sock knitting. These, I don't make these anymore. Sold quite a lot of these to friends who use them as you know, bags in their handbags to be able to find things easily. You can do it up that way. Yeah, so that's that. Other knitting, this isn't started yet, but it will be, possibly later on today. This, a couple of weeks ago I went with my daughter to a yarn festival in Farnham, Unravel, and I was very restrained. I bought some yarn, a kit to make a tabardie type Fair Isle top, which I've put away because it's not the season for that now. And I also picked up one of a kind, one-off skein from Kettle's Yard. I've bought from her before. Each time I go I normally buy something because she has a bargain bin. So this, I was looking at it last night and I lost that. I undid it so that I could check the colour saturation, because when it's in a twist you can't always tell what it's going to be like, and I undid it and it was glowing. I can't remember what the fibre is now. It's wool, but I can't remember which breed of sheep. And it's going to be a ranunculus because it's one skein. I think it was either £12 or £14. I mean, it's good, isn't it? And I really like the one that I was wearing last week, where I did the contrast cast on. And so I've had a rummage and I found this little twist that I picked up somewhere that could work. And I also found some Shetland yarn. and I sort of quite like both of them. I quite like the idea of using both. Maybe that one there for the neck and that one there for the cast off. Quite like orange and pink clash together. So, and this is making me feel spring-like, basically. That's what I want to say about this. This yarn, this yellow, yeah, with a touch of coral there. I'm thinking that's going to be, I'm definitely going to cast that on tonight. Could be wearing it next time, you never know. So that's knitting. And that's the empty bag. I hesitated before I started getting stuff out because the lining. So this fabric has been in my stash for a long time. I can't remember what it is, but I was drawn to it. Somehow for me it just worked, even though the bag itself is very light. The dark interior is the same brown as the outside, and the colours of their flowers and dragonflies and moths and things. And I showed it to my husband and said, I think this looks really nice with this, what do you think? And he said, oh, did you pick that because it's got the circle motif on it? Which showed me that he had been listening to the tour, because Vanessa Bell liked a circle motif and he'd obviously picked up on that. I hadn't picked up on that, but maybe subliminally I had added a circle motif. So totally delighted and thrilled with my bag, and it's now empty. There we go. Cup of coffee. Right. So, finishes. In fact, a start and a finish. Here we go. I made the blue tick kit. I made myself a board actually as well, so that I could hang things very professionally. See if I can get it close. So this was the kit that my mother-in-law gave me that I spoke about last time, and I'll say it again, it's been sunny here and it just makes you feel spring-like, and I felt like I wanted to stitch this. So I stitched this on a piece of Northumberland Sampler House 46 count oak, and I backed it. It's just on card. Well, you know how you do it. You do a running stitch around, tighten it up, pull it on, lace it a little bit, and then I actually sewed. I sewed the two pieces together, and I made a ribbon to go on the top. But in the end, I just decided I didn't really like it that much. It just was a bit too much, so I decided against the ribbon. And as I was upstairs where I do my sewing, and I had my pin cushion next to me, and I looked at the pins in the pin cushion, and I thought, oh, they're the same colours. So those are literally just pins out of my pin cushion that I've poked in through the two bits where I've sewn it together. And I'm really chuffed with that. I'm going to hang it on a key of we've got a cupboard in our kitchen. It's going to hang on the key there this spring. And I'll take a picture of it and obviously put it on Instagram, but also send it to my mother-in-law to show her that I made the kit. So that is a finish. That was a start and a finish. I also finished my Scout Shawl by Florence Sperling. I actually finished this morning. And this is interesting for you non-knitters, because it doesn't look that great really, does it? Because it needs that blocking. It needs to be soaked in a bowl of tepid water for a while. Let it absorb loads of water, and then I'll bring it in here. This is quite a warm room, this room, and pin it out and try and get a good shape to it. So I think when I showed you before, I think I was about here. I did say I was on the decrease bit. So I've worked on this bit here since I last saw you, and I cast that off. this morning, and it's just the right time of year as well, I think. I get that soaked and blocked maybe tomorrow. It'll take a few days to dry, and if the weather continues like this is going to be great, isn't it? Love it. All that to do with the It's a Kit. I've used the wrong colours. Actually have quite a lot left. So in my bowl here you can see it was really the blue was the tightest, and that is such a lovely blue as well, but there was plenty of the white, there was plenty of that cappuccino sort of colour, there's plenty of the green and the grey, and I feel there's enough there for a pair of Fair Isle wrist warmers maybe, and they look quite nice in there anyway. So I'm not going to knit wrist warmers now. That's not what I'm into at the moment. It's not the time of year, but I do like to use up all the bits and pieces. Don't like wasting stuff. So what else can I talk about? Oh, I know what I meant to say. Market releases. I am trying very hard this year. No, actually I'm not trying very hard. I am not buying new things, new cross-stitch charts. I have so much, and the way I feel at the moment is I don't need anything else. I need to use what I've got. But those Stacey Nash animal crackers, that frog that's holding a little bobbin spool, it could break me, that one. I went through to have a look to see which patterns I have that I haven't stitched, and I must do one of these first, is what I said to myself. So I got these out just to show. I have got she's Jenny, is she Jenny? I think so. Jenny Wren. I'm assuming that's what it is. That's what, yeah, Jenny Wren. That's what we say, isn't it? So I've got that one that I could do. I've also got Harrison, and I was desperate to start him during lockdown 2020. You couldn't get that chamomile, I think it's in his sweater, anywhere. And there he is, 5 years later, looks still not even started. I also think, pretty certain I've got P-Roy the slug, but I think he could be one of those casualties of being put in a bag somewhere, and until I get that bag out for whatever main project is in there, I won't find him, because those are the only two that I could find. So yeah, but that frog is calling me. But then everything Stacey Nash does is calls me. What next? Shall we talk about bags that I've got coming? So thank you to everyone who bought a bag from me. My stocks are running low, so I've made some more. So first up, I've shared this one on Instagram. These are both Dorothy bags. This one is called Slumber Mouse because it's a little sleeping dormouse. He's got a pinky coloured wool tassel. There's a thread keep made from the fabric I used to line. So he's nice. I also noticed that there are acorns. The acorn theme continues. So he'll be on the website. By the time you see this, he'll be on the website. That's that. And then he's got a friend, a squirrel friend. Squirrel Dreams, I think this one's called. I've called it. Same fabric collection. I think they're Tilda. I've had them for quite a long time and not made them up. But he's great. And he actually he made quite a nice thread keep. He's got the face there. he's coming, and that lining is lovely colours. Lovely colours. This tassel, this is an interesting tassel. This is a silk yarn. I knitted a cardigan in that years ago. I still had a couple of balls left over, but that makes a really lovely shiny floppy tassel. They all have personalities, the tassels. It depends what yarns they're made out of. If they're made out of Shetland yarn, they're a bit wild and crazy and curly at the edges, and if they're made out of silk, they're all sleek. So yeah, I do think that they have personalities. What else is coming? Well, the Gertrude bag proved popular. I sold out of Alice, but I did have some fabric left, so I've made another Alice. So she's back in stock. This is a Rifle Paper Company fabric. It's canvas weight. It's got gold printing on it. Oh, love it, love it, love it, love it. It comes and goes. I first bought it years ago and made myself a bag, not this type of bag, just a bag, in the pale blue, periwinkle blue colourway. And then you couldn't get it anywhere. It just didn't exist. And then every now and again, they release a few bolts. I don't know whether they print a few more, or I don't know what happens. But she is great. This is great fabric for the bags. And so I will, now that they are all gone, I will see if I can get some more, particularly in the pale blue. This has a, well, it's the one on the website. So that's back in stock. And the white Vanessa Bell designed fabric is furnishing fabric. So I bought a piece, and it's expensive. I think it was 85, 90 pounds a metre, something like that. So really pricey compared to, I mean, these are pricey, but nowhere near that sort of level. And so, yeah, I was a bit naughty really, but never mind. Out of the piece that I bought, I actually managed to get 2 bags. And I managed to get 2 bags by piecing them cleverly. That was a bit of a funny word. To make the most of the fabric that I had, so I didn't waste any of that precious fabric. So there is one of these on the website, and it's expensive, but it's expensive because it's expensive. This fabric did cost a lot of money. So there's one of these on the website. I pieced it by making the base floral as well. That's saved on the meterage. Yeah, other than that, it's exactly the same. It's great. So there's one. If you want to be my bag twin, there is one. That piece of fabric I just took out, actually, that was in there because that was one of my ideas as a lining for it, but I went with the circle in the end. So that's also going to be on the website. Now, I mentioned that I made a bag called the Erica bag. I did sell a lot of them. They're fiddly to make. I didn't really enjoy making them that much, and so I stopped and I took them off the website. However, having just shown you my sock knitting bag, I have 3 that I found in my stock box when I was going through to see what I had left. So I'm going to pop these back up on the website. There's one which is well, really, I mean, it's a sock knitting bag, really, isn't it? It's got a, is that one? This one, which has got some strawberries on it, and has a, I think it's, oh yes, it's got tigers inside it. I'd forgotten about that. So they sit, Actually, my daughter has this one. My younger daughter has this one that she uses as a makeup bag. Every time she gets it out, I think, oh, I've forgotten you got that. You can. These are a copper. I went all out and bought, you know, really nice copper press fasteners and everything. And so you can change the shape of it. You can use that as a handle. You can whatever. Anyway, that one. So those two, I'm just going to stick them back on the website. See if you're interested. And then there was this one. This one. Yeah, just this one. This fabric really is very me, because this to me is so Voisey like arts and crafts movement, with the bird and everything. I love this fabric, and I have one of these in stock, just one. So there is actually a Caroline bag, and there is going to be one of those as well, if you like sets. So I'm going to put those on. Okay, that's it for the bags. How I said thank you. I must say thank you again, actually, for people who have bought from me, and I hope that they're either safely on their way to you across the water, or you've received them and you're happy with them. Some people have contacted me and said how delighted they are, which is lovely. I love to hear that, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Having said last time I would talk about plans, but I don't really plan. I have planned some stuff. So at the end of this month is my birthday, and so I'm going to have a birthday start. So I went through my charts, and along the lines of not wanting to spend, not wanting to buy anything new, I've decided to go with, are you ready? Everybody's going to know this one. Martha Pudsey. I have had the chart for a while, and I obviously thought about doing it some time ago, because I have most of the silks. I think I'm missing 2 that I need to order. That's allowed, because I need to be able to order things. So those are the, you can't really, I think me leaning forwards and backwards is making the light change as well, isn't it? So it's NPI silks. I stitched Rachel Howell's with NPI silks on 36 count, and wasn't really 100% happy with the coverage. Yes, it's great. It's my favourite piece. I'll show that at some stage. So I have the NPIs. They are, for me, the Avera Soir is plump and shiny. These are sleek and buttery and thinner. So I've chosen a piece of 40 count to stitch her on. And I think I really love this. I've used it a few times. Let me just check the name. It's Antique Lace from Seraphim. Actually, that's showing quite nicely, isn't it? It's got some nice mottling on it. So hopefully this bit is big enough. I put all the colours out on it. I think they all work. It's the cover pictures don't. It's difficult to capture colour. I do appreciate it. It's very difficult to capture colour. I was a little bit disappointed that the blue in the border, which looks really blue on the pattern cover, is actually a very pale, like an eau de Nil sort of colour. But anyway, they all work on this piece of fabric. So that is going to be a birthday start for me. This is a bag from a while ago. I bought this fabric from Liberty when I was working there. It was in the furnishing fabric remnant sale bin, and I bought it to make a shirt for my husband, because it's not heavyweight, it's light cotton. I don't know what it was doing in the furnishing fabric remnant bin. He never got the shirt, and I came across it a while ago, and It's made some really great bags. I've made quite a few of these and sold them. They've all gone. And I have normally I had my black sampler November project in here, but I actually have run out of project bags. So this is the only one that I had for Martha. So that is her home. I never saved myself enough of the fabric to make myself a matching thread drop keeper, but I made a very bright pink floral one, which gives a pop of colour to the bag. So that's a plan, and that will be a new start, and I'm looking forward to starting that. Actually, I love an Adam and Eve sampler. I've no idea why, but something about Adam and Eve does it for me. So that's a plan. A knitting plan is again using up stuff that I have. Not using up stuff I have, using what I have. I don't want to use it up, you know. It's looking and thinking, gosh, that's so lovely, I bought that, I need to now make something out of it. So I bought this yarn. I must have bought it quite a long time ago from a company called the Yarn Lab. It's a speckledy, mottledy, not really the type of thing that I would normally buy. I have a very distinct feeling that I was swayed by the name. It's called Tall Handsome Man, and I think it was Peaky Blinders inspired collection that she did, and we were quite into watching it back then when I bought this. So I think I could have actually been swayed by the name. I've got 3 hanks, quite a lot, and it's, yeah. Keep leaning forward, it changes the light. So I am going to do Lola Pullover by Claudia Q. You Knit. I've just printed it off. I bought it on Ravelry and printed it off. It's not going to look like that on me. I will knit it. I do like cropped things. I will knit it slightly longer. I will knit it oversized, because I'm thinking spring, and I noticed in some of the pictures the neckline looks very wide, so I might, yeah, I'll do a tension square and swatch and get it right. It needs to be held together with, sorry, okay, he doesn't want to be part of this. Oh, and the dog's gone. You can take it with you. For this pattern actually does use a fingering weight yarn held together with a silk mohair strand. So I ordered that last night in a, I can't remember what the colour was called now, but that, because I cool colours suit me, so I think I've picked out sort of like a very pale, cool browny grey colour. At least I think that's what I've picked out, if my my screen is anything to go by. Actually, I was in for chemotherapy on Wednesday, and there was a bit of a mess up, so I had the pre-meds for it, which are Piriton, which I before all this happened to me, I never even took so much as a paracetamol. A Piriton, oh my god, out for the count for at least half an hour, just gone. So they give you that, and then also they give you steroids. So I had, but then there was a mess up with the quantity or something, and they couldn't give me the chemotherapy on that day. I had to go back the next day. So I had the pre-meds again. So I've had 2 helpings of steroids, and I have been wired. So I was up really late last night, ordering, yeah, and sorting. Yeah, it's been crazy. When I was in hospital as an inpatient in isolation, I had lots of issues and things, and my doctor and consultant used to come see me every day. And I remember one day they came and they're, how are you? And I'm like, I feel great. I feel fantastic. I've knitted this. I've started that. I've read this. I'm doing this, that, and the other. And I said, I don't know what it is. What is it? I just feel amazing. And they both looked at each other, and then they looked at me and laughed, and they said, Sarah, you're on steroids. And I didn't make a connection with that phrase, doing something like you're on steroids, because it's not part of my normal world. But boy, oh boy, I've been so live wired. I hope I'm not still a bit today by the steroids. So I was up late last night shopping. In fact, I'm just going to pause you a minute because it's a bit of a funny story, and I'll come back and show you. Okay, so at that time when I was feeling absolutely fantastic on my steroids, in isolation in hospital on my own with a laptop and a credit card, one night I bought a stuffed zebra, and the next morning when I woke up, I thought to myself, I dreamt last night I bought a stuffed zebra. And when I looked at my phone, thank you for your purchase. So I had bought a stuffed zebra, and I'll show him to you because here he is, because he's a great stuffed zebra. This is from a company called Made by Swimmer. They sell on Etsy, and it's beautifully made, and they use all recycled, reclaimed materials. He's backed in velvet, and they do all sorts of animals and things, but I'm particularly drawn to these Staffordshire flatback ones. It's great. See, touches of gold there, and the embroidery, really lovely work. So yeah, I bought a stuffed zebra. When we were at Charleston, there were some Staffordshire flatbacks, and there was a zebra. So I took a picture of it because it made me laugh, because it reminded me of this moment when I, in a drug-induced haze, went shopping. But I have bought from her before, and what I have bought before, which I also grabbed from next door, is this one. In fact, I've got two, because I've got the pair. They face each other, they sit on the top of the piano. Yeah. Back with velvet. I feel a bit of an affinity as well, because on her Instagram she's based down in Dorset, not far from where I'm from. So when I watch her stories and things, I get a glimpse of home. But so creative. So, you know, I mean, I could make that, but she has designed it and made it, and yeah, very clever. Well beyond my skill set. Love it. So this also last night, because of my steroid thing, got me thinking about a pattern that I know. Is it Cosford Rise Stitchery? She's got a cross stitch pattern for a pair of these, and so I found myself looking at that last night and almost bought it, but I stopped myself just in time, because I have been so good. I really haven't bought. I don't need to buy another pattern, but I would say go and have a look at it, because if you're into things like this, I think one of the comments that a customer had written was that she bought the pattern but she was going to needlepoint it, which I thought was a really good idea actually. So, but yeah, that's what happens when you're taking steroids. Okay, how much time? What should I talk about next? Oh, I forgot to say, if you buy a bag, I'll pop that in. If you're like the first person to buy a bag when this video goes out, I'll pop this in, because I was quite right. There's a lot of thread in there. I've used a tiny amount of thread, especially because I used a very small count. I don't know how many blue tits could be stitched with this kit, but probably half a dozen or more. So I thought giveaway, and then I thought, oh, actually, I don't know how much this kit was. It just doesn't seem worth it, and it's not a. I don't want it to be like a buy a bag and you can have a free gift. I'll just pop it in. So if you're the lucky one, you'll get it. If you don't want it, if it's not your thing, just send me an email, sarah@penelopespocket.co.uk, and I'll just put it in the next bag. And then maybe if you stitch it, you can also pass it on, and we'll see how many blue tits can be stitched out of one little kit. Okay, next. Okay, so from the diorama, I tried from the opening scene bit. I'll try and show and talk about something from that each time. In fact, this covers that, because I think this was folded up on the sofa there, and this cross stitch bit was also there. So I thought I'd show this one. So this is. Look at the picture. This is, I think it's called Checkerboard House. I should have looked it up. I didn't look it up, and I'm sorry. It's Hands Across the Sea. It was a PDF download. I bought it as soon as I saw it. I just saw it, loved it, and PDF downloaded it, and it's all DMC, and it was right in the middle of our first lockdown, and I have very clear memories of sitting out in the garden working on this in complete silence, because we live in quite a busy area and there was no traffic, no aeroplanes, nothing, just silence, and the most glorious sunny spring that year. My wisteria was the best it's ever been, and so this has got good memories, actually, this one. It's on, I know it's on 40 count, and I know it's XJU Designs fabric, lovely fabric she does. I don't buy from her anymore because this European stuff. I've changed this because there was definitely writing a verse, a psalm or something up here, and I used a cross stitch dictionary thing that I've got, and I picked out these motifs. I don't think I picked out these motifs. Would I have gone that far? But I definitely changed the top half here. The girl who stitched it, her initials are here, and the date 1860, isn't it? Yeah, seeing it back to front in the camera. And then I just put my initials and the year 2020 on the top there, and I framed it myself, and I didn't put pretty backing paper on the back of that one. It's just the way it is. Love a big house. Oh, and the grass is, I don't know technical terms, but you make a knot and a loop, and then you cut the loops, and then you trim it, so it's completely like a velvet 3D effect, all DMC. And I think the windows might have been tent stitch, so there's a little bit of twist maybe going on there. It was difficult to stretch, I seem to remember, but I love that hangs in my hallway. So that's a previous finish. Also old stuff. I can talk about old stuff forever. I think this might have been in the diorama. This is old stuff, but it's old cross stitch stuff, because my mum made that when I think she was quite young. My grandma gave it to me many years ago, and I think she told me she was 8, but now I look at the reproductions, the samplers, the original samplers stitched by 5-year-olds. I'm thinking, Grandma, you must have got that wrong. Mum must have done that when she was a bit younger than that. He's on a piece of linen. He's very grubby. I've used him actually as a needlebook all through my sewing career, and he's got a little bit of 1950s, I suppose, flannelette stuff. I've got some pins in there at the moment. I actually don't use him anymore, but I used to always just keep my needles in there. So that's something that my mum made. It's very grubby looking, a bit blown out as well. Anyway, so that's old stuff. And I think that's it. I've hit an hour. If you've made it this far, and you've made it this far now twice, you've come back for a second helping, thank you so much. Please keep commenting. I'll just take a sip of a drink. It's really nice to read what people have to say. Yeah, I've enjoyed this. I don't know when I'll do another one. Every 2 weeks seems far too much to me, but we'll see how it goes. I would imagine it'll be more like 3 or 4 weeks. But if I'm on those steroids, you never know, I might have quite a lot to show, and I might have a bag making frenzy. So yes, thank you very much for joining me again, and goodbye.